Yeah, okay. So today we are going to look into the hacking terminologies. So it is more important to understand what are the hacking terminology take place, because everyone are moving most of our applications into the web, and we are using more and more in web applications. So even to make our application more secured, and we while developing the applications, we also need to understand how they are hacking and how to prevent those. So what are the terminology they are using and how they are doing it. We can go through every week, every month meetups. So now currently I will be talking about this type of terminologies today. Like many people have been heard about it, and we can go in depth of this terminology by one, like breaches, social engineering, man in the middle, and Google Dark. So Google Dark is how we can crack the Google. So in these terms, and there are more terminology. It is not limited to this, but I plan to cover the others in the upcoming meetups. So the first one is the data breach. So what is the database breach? So anyone have any idea on that? Okay. Yeah.
Kind of a stealing data?
Yes, of course. Yeah. It's taking the data with unintentionally stealing the data and putting it into the untrusted environment. Like there are more websites like dark web. You have been heard about dark web, or they will steal all those untrusted secured confidential information and put it in those websites. They sell those data. We can see the in more websites like Twitter, LinkedIn, or O3 web post. You can see there are millions of billions of data has been hacked, and we are able to see in this forum that your data has been breached. Such as what type of data you will be having in the data breach. So you can categorize, like there are more information like credit card information, or either bank details, or personal health information, or something like personal identical information. So company trade secrets, everything will be available. So depend upon what site the hackers had done the data breaches. Okay. So these data breaches, not only they put it into the dark web, there will be a multiple hackers forums are available, paste bins are available. So everywhere you can even download that data. So, and one more thing I have to show is there is one website which you can check whether your email ID is available. Here there is one website here, and you can check whether your email or your credential has been data breaches over here. So for example, I'm not putting my current, so I will put as test@gmail.com to see how whether there has been data breaches over there. You can also give your email ID to check here your credentials or whether breached or not. If you see the result has come, it has been 10 times it has been data breached, so it is available in the live hackers user details passwords. So like this, here we can encrypt your email. You can put your email and test it and see how whether your password has been data breached or not. Okay, so so this is the way it occurs, like due to how they are the hackers are doing data breaches, like insecure of data, like for example sending the get attributes method using instead of post, and the hackers can change their attributes values over there in the get method, or and it is easily to visible for the users to change without doing any validation. at the back end. This makes more data to be helpful for the hackers to take place. So how can we overcome this scenario? Like whenever we develop an application, my instruction to do is do a validation. Everyone do a validation at the front end, and most people will never take care on the back end and they are not considering more seriously at why do we need a data validation at the back end. So every time whenever do validation, we have to do in both the front end and the back end. And one more thing is, so whenever you are accessing the user's details, you have to check whether it is a valid authorized user to get those data from the backend. Like for example, using APIs. Nowadays we are using web services in everywhere and each and more applications. So whenever we use web services in the for solid to 10 years back, we won't be using any encryptions or password for those API calls. So at the time the data can be accessed by changing those attributes value, either the username or user ID, so it is easily accessible. But so always do like whenever you create a web services, use a password authentications, and always do authorization of whenever the users retrieve those data, you do authorization before whether this user has a permission to take those user details, etc. So in this way, if you overcome, the data breaches will never happen in our applications. So this will be the best practice on always doing those, avoid this hacking. So this is the data breaches, and if you have any questions, you can interrupt me at the middle, no issue. So next we are going through the social engineering, and there are multiple types of engineering, like you have seen in this pictures, like phishing, baiting, etc. So we can go each and every steps over these types. So how the hackers do phishing? By sending an email or telephone or text messages to make an individual to provide their most sensitive data, such as bank details and credit card details and password. Even we would be having we will get the calls from some third-party vendors or telling like share your credit cards or bank details to activate a PAN and so PAN and Aadhaar card, etc. like this. So please try to avoid those type of phishing will happen in this way of hackers. So next we will be going through baiting. So baiting is in the form of like attracting those people by downloading the latest type of music or movies in the web. So this there is some latest movies you can download from by clicking on this link, or peer-to-peer sites, or you will receive an email. It is one type of baiting. Is also one type of phishing, like getting an email like executive salary summary Q3. So you will be linking what is this salary summary, and you will get interrupted by going under this social engineering. So you have to avoid this type of baiting. To overcome this, try to avoid this. And and next we can go through, we can check quid pro quo. So this is one of the type. So this is also one type of like receiving a phone call, like asking the users to share their credentials to provide some services, like please provide your information for blocking. If you have a website and you have to need a services as there is not able to proceed further authentication, or there is a technical issue happened in the web application, you will get a call from the technical person. So to give the credential and to look into your system, they will be asking like this. So don't share this type of information. And and next we will be looking into the piggybacking. So this is piggybacking is one type of social media, is like borrowing the laptops or mobiles from the nearby people and installing those. installing the software and the miscellaneous software and putting malwares into your websites, into your laptops, and so that you can easily track all your access all your hardware like cameras and the message you share and what are the website you see. Everything can be done in this piggybacking and the pre-texting. So here the pre-textings will be as an employee, like as I mentioned earlier, like the people will be telling that we are calling from the IT support teams, and chat through the chat support we will be asking those credentials to be shared. So this type of things should be avoided whenever we do in the online by sharing those credentials. So this is all the social engineering hacking has been taking place. So next we will be looking into the man in the middle. So this man in the middle is nothing but when you are going to a coffee shop or some restaurant and you are sharing those public Wi-Fi connections. So at those times what will happen is in the middle of the man in the middle will take role of this instead of directly connecting to the web server. So all the requests will be going to this middleman and will go to the web server. So this is where this man in the middle will take place. So but now it is not possible, as earlier we will be using HTTP access, so all the data what has been request or response, it's easily readable. But now we are using most of the sites comes up with Amazon or Flipkart, or everything will be having HTTPS. It's a encryption has been taking place, so it is not much secured one. It is not used much in nowadays. So next we will be looking into what is Google Doc or Google, how to hack the Google data from the by searching few keywords. And always before looking into few commands in the Google Doc, we will be also talking about how to overcome this Google Doc. Like we can easily take nowadays the username password from the log file. So sometimes the environment file, the people nowadays without knowingly they push their code with the environment file or log file by checking those password user details in the log file. So the hackers can easily do that or access those password details from by putting giving some commands by searching in the Google. So whenever we try to put the code, please recheck whether we are pushing those credential log files or .environment files in the web. And not even the username password. So whenever you are using CCTV or something, it is easily accessible to the public IP address. So try to restrict those with the encrypted password. Whenever you want to check with your mobile connection through the IP address, you will be checking those CCTV, accessing those CCTV through the mobile software like that. So whenever you are doing those, you try to use or block those from the firewall to use unauthorized access to the people. So using this it will be helpful to control yourself from hacking those cameras, and even you can do more issues like accessing the FTP servers. So you try to block your FTPs to access your directory, what are the directories available in your projects. So you can, for example, I will give you a few commands how this hacking takes place, so you can realistically feel how our data are getting stolen. Like in the Google Doc, we will be giving some example, like in title of. So for example, I will put a command like in title index of. So what you in the URL you are looking for the FTP, and from which year it should be the data should be selected. So easily you can get, for example, this is some countries' government websites. So if you go and see, you can easily access those FTP directories, and even see that you can see all the latest data of 2020. Even yesterday's the last week data, it's visible here. So there are like you can search using of index of, and in the URL what type you are going to search, whether it is a HTTP or FTP. So you can do that here. For example, you can also put HTTP. Here also you can access those files. See here it is how it is visible in public. So all those you can access all those directory, and easily the hackers can steal those data. So if you want any company's emails, email IDs, or some people will be sharing those email IDs in specific files, or you want to take some files, you can also do that. Like, so you can specify the file type and what type of format, what extension you want, XLS or Word something, and in the URL you can give the file names. So if you do so, you will get all those Excel files who are having those shared one. For example, you can take the first link. If you see, you can see there are multiple emails available on globally able to access. So try to avoid this type of things. You can use encryptions for opening the Excel sheets, so that it's very difficult for the people to crack. And even see, for example, you can also find the camera zone which is in the current time, like URL. See, this is all the cameras which is available, easily available without any encryptions or any request of user authentication. You can easily view those. And of course, the more entertainment is, we can also download movies like using this Google Doc. Like, for example, I will show you the command, like. So you can specify the movie name, and you can type in URL what type of extension, and the title you can see lost, modified, etc. So if you give enter, you can see this. You can see easily download your movies using the Google hack. So this is the how the Google hack take place. Google Doc take place. Yeah. So by next we can see other terminologies what are covered. And do anyone have questions, or do you want any terminology to know about more in depth? So we can cover those in the upcoming section also. So let me know.
Yes, just one more question. So by searching like parentheses or using the file, it's all of way of searching in Google, isn't it?
Yes, it's searching Google. Yes.
So if I'm going to share a Excel with you as an email, if you're available here, or what kind of data would be available?
So it will get all the domains if we are hosting those data. So we are in if you are sharing those through emails, it will be not available. This is like hosting or using the bots or everything. We are crawling all those from our site for SEO purpose. We are making it right. So at the time it will the Google will crawl all those information from our sites and keep those data in indexed of all those data. So whenever we search those files, it will be easily available. So if you are doing that in an email, it will be more secured one. or you can protect it by using the you can put as in robot. You can allowed or unallowed this type of files. You can in robot or text files you can do that in more secure, not to download these files, etc. You can mention in that.
Okay. So basically, while we having strong configuration and robot.txt tools, so
Yes.
information tools.
Yes, of course. So always try to protect your files, even using authentication like sharing those files, etc.